Hello, good evening, welcome. You hear me? Yes? Okay. So thank you for coming, thank you for having invited me. Just two warnings. The first thing is this will not be mainly a lecture on disabled performers. Just to, there will be performances with disabled performers in it, but I'm not only working with disabled performers, and the examples are not only about this. It's more about about creative process with given things. But there will be disabled performers, and another warning: I'm not used to do this kind of lectures. Usually I'm more working in a secret place, not so exposed. So okay, for me it's like it's a sort of premiere. This is, and I beg you to help me to. If there's something you don't understand, please tell it, ask it to me. I think we can have a discussion whenever, not only at the end. So please go in there and participate. As a spectator, I'm not such a fan of participate theater, but in this case, I would love that you participate as much as possible. We'll make a break at 7:15.
Yes.
Yes. So if I forget, please just remind me. Yes, and I will mainly focus my presentation on works I did together with a company which is called Monster Truck, and the reason is why. So I don't know if does everybody know what's the work of a dramaturg means. So it's like so I'm not a playwright. First thing, and it's more I'm working more like an outside eye, collaborating with directors and groups. Sometimes like a psychotherapist, or so. And in a way, it's a kind of secret job. So when Sylvia asked me to do this presentation, I was like, okay, what can I tell? What if I was asked to talk about processes, and what can I talk about? What can I? And as I'm in Monster Truck, I'm a member of it, and we're like. There isn't really this function of dramaturg when we're like creating these pieces together. So I focused on the works with Monster Truck because this is the work where I think I'm allowed to speak about and to talk about the processes, and even about things which didn't work from my side, which would be much more indiscreet for other companies. So. And it's, I think there are a lot of interesting works. I start with a film. I didn't participate in it at all. It's like a sort of classic, of short film classic. I think how long does it take? It's 11 minutes long. So I think maybe we cut it at the moment, just that you understand what could be meant by the title ready-made dramaturgy.
Slowly move the trailer to the left, and I want the little girl to run across now. Hold that trailer there. Now move the trailer on. Right, now I want the old man with white hair and glasses to cross the road. Come on, quickly. Look this way. Now walk off to the left. Okay, fine. Now let's have the man in the pink cap. Put the cigarette in your mouth. Good. and I want the two girls to come in from the right talking to each other. Now I want the Jamaican family. Father first. Look in front of you. Now the mother and the two boys. And I want the smaller boy to point to the right and now cast a glance behind him. Fine. Now, I want the girl with the bag under her arm to walk to the right. Now let's have the man rubbing his eye. Good. Right, now I want everything to sink slowly down as the five boys come by. Hold it, and I want the clock to move jerkily towards me. Stop. Now, I want the long hand to move at the rate of 1 revolution every hour, and the short hand to move at the rate of 1 revolution every 12 hours. Now, two pigeons fly across, and everything comes up again until the girl chewing gum walks across from the left. Okay, now, the van, the woman and the boy, the man with the bag of chips, the car roof, the whole car, the old man, the car and the boy, the motorcyclist and the lorry. Now, when the woman at the window looks in this direction, I want everything to move a bit further away. Right, let's have the man in the white boiler suit coming in from the right. Stop at the lamppost and fold your arms. Now, look around you. Walk back to the left again, and look left and right as you cross the road. Now, I want the man reading Exchange and Mart to come in from the right. Now a man comes by and bites his nails, two pigeons fly past from right to left, and two boys run past from left to right. The woman at the window looks this way and then goes on talking. In a second, I want four boys to come from the left, and I want one of them to look this way and flap his arms up and down. I'd like the boys to remain in more or less the same position, while everything else moves to the left and goes away a bit at the same time. Lift up your arm, now bring it down. Now I want the man with the turban and briefcase to come in from the right, and now the band marks University of London, Senate House, London WC1. In the cinema queue, I want to see a boy and his mother. The boy will be about 8 years old and his mother about 32. They'll both have collar-length hair, his dark and hers fair. She will be wearing a suede egg coat with a white imitation fur collar. They'll be talking to each other and looking around them. Now, I want the man coming in from the left in the grey peak cap to put on his glasses. The boy will look at his watch and yawn, then look at it again and say something to his mother about the time.
This is a classic by John Smith, which is called The Girl Chewing Gum, a short film. When the title of this presentation is Ready-Made Dramaturgy, not Ready-Made Dramaturgies. I don't know. I found this title when I was already over the deadline, and we were on holiday in a 12 square meters apartment, and my girlfriend was sick, and I was with 2 children, and so I put this, and then okay, I sent it. Sylvia, she said, okay, perfect. And then when I got calm again, I said, okay, gosh, what did I announce? It sounds like a method, or like a theoretical program, or I don't know a lot about ready-made, so I apologize for this. Maybe you will discover what I mean by this. What if you see the examples, and hopefully we will have time to at the end, and hopefully you will not be exhausted, and we can put this theory together, all of us. So and it's just for does everybody knows what a ready-made is? I put this. So this guy, what's happening with the computer? Oh. Sorry, there's. Is this? No. Sorry, there's something on him. Ah! What's happening? Why is this alarm clock? So, okay, the guy you see here, this is Marcel Bugiel, and in the between 1914 and 1917, he discovered, did the combination of 2 things who already existed. He took like a reproduction of Mona Lisa and he put a beard on it, and this was his, and he put this LHO like this, and he put a title on it. This was another thing he exposed as a ready-made. This was another ready-made, which was a combination as well. So he did this, and his idea was that it was not anymore the craft or what the artist was doing for real, but it was like the artist was responsible for the frame, and it was the frame who decided if something is art or not, and not the form of the artwork itself. So with this he was like the father of things like conceptual art. And so, but this when this happened in around 1915, 16, there was no real echo because of it, and this concept became important mainly became important in the 50s and the 60s, and since the 60s, wait, I have, okay, 3 examples, like, and it became important in fine arts, Andy Warhol, for example, also using like this. He didn't design these boxes, he just put them and exposed them, or take this as a work of art, or this, a crashed car. So it was, the artist wasn't the person who designed the car, but just maybe he crashed it, I don't know, maybe it was already crashed, he just exposed it. So, from starting from the 60s, it became very important for visual arts, but also like this influence was also in music, like John Cage, for example, who just presented noises from the street as music, as composition. In dance, like there was this also in New York, in the New York scene. There was like the dancers from Judson Church. I always have a problem to spell this. Who, for example, who introduced like normal walking in the arts, so something everybody, there was no more training necessary for doing this. Everything became dance. What else? Like cinema, home movies, without any editing, without Andy Warhol also, who filmed, for example, Empire State Building, who put the camera on Empire State Building and let run the camera for 8 hours, and this was his movie. So the concept became very important. And when I'm using this, it's also, so the title of the workshop could also be how to do theater without rehearsing. For Duchamp as well, the concept of laziness was very important. There are like quotations by him like "Ne travaillez jamais," never work, or I prefer breathing to working, and so in a way it's okay. The examples I will show you very often, it's I will show you like theater scenes and whole pieces which were done without a real rehearsal work, like reworking with the actors for days and weeks the same scene, but almost ready-made. And you will discover, so the notion of ready-made will appear in different fields. Which is also, so it's laziness, but it's also sometimes it's also a question of economic conditions of time. So, and also because you question of taste, because sometimes it's more beautiful to have things not rehearsed, to just have them like as they are. Okay. Anyway, this as an introduction. I hope we can talk about it, discuss this after the presentations. Now I will present you a number of theater works, theater and dance works, performance works. Okay, the first one is like, it's the only one I will present which is not from Monster Truck, but from a choreographer who's called Jérôme Bell. French choreographer, and it's like a very small work in its structure, very simple, one of the simplest pieces you can imagine, and which had a really a huge I don't know how to say repercussion. Like there was like a whole book was written only on this performance, which is some kind of absurd. But because it's so simple, you will see. And but also to know why it was discussed so much, there are a lot of things that passed before that you have to know before, and then there's this very simple structure, and then again this big repercussion. So shall I tell you something about the history of disabled performers from? Yes, I do. Anyway, so many people are waiting, expecting this. So performers. So the notion of disability doesn't exist for a long time. Like it exists since 100 years. But of course, there were like blind people, or these people always existed. And in a way, they always existed in theater as well. When you take like Greek drama, you have this blind, the blind seer Tiresias. You have Oedipus, who is I don't know who it's called, who has one leg, who is one foot. No, it's the foot who's swollen. I think. Sorry? Crippled. He's crippled. Yes. So you have disabled people in theater since theater exists, usually they are used as metaphors for something, not really as, yes, they are, so the disability is like a metaphor. And but when you take like official theater, normally these disabled people, they aren't, they don't represent themselves. They are represented by non-disabled performers. So, and this is when you look until today, in 90% of Hollywood movies, you have a disabled character who is represented by a non-disabled actor. And because, yes, they are, it's not the topic, but it's, so they are, so disabled people, they are as old as, so they are in theater as long as theater exists, maybe, but they are not, they are mostly represented by non-disabled people. At the same time, already in ancient Greece and Roman times, there were like other forms of performances where disabled people were presented for amusement, for example, or in the circus and things like this. So they exist, but never in official theater. Then you have, of course, in the Middle Ages, you have, for example, the Narren? Jokers. Yes, you have jokers who were
Jester, actually.
Jester. You have jester. They were also, these were people with a mental disability, and then because it was like you could earn money with it, then little by little they were replaced by non-disabled people, because it was a nice possibility to be next to the king and to earn money with it. But you had them there, but you didn't have them in official theater. It's just in special roles. Then in the 19th century you had freak shows, things like this, and so it was only after then you had like special forms of theater for them, like freak shows, like hidden forms of theater, for example, in institutions. Already in 19th century, there were in institutions they were making theater with disabled people, but it was not for outside. It was just like for therapeutic reasons. So they were like in a way like hidden, and it was only after 1968, from the beginning, from the 70s, that people with disabilities started to reclaim like official themes and to appear in the theater, and was always connected with political reasons. And yes, so it's if you take the real movement, or the movement we have nowadays with disabled performers, it's rather young, like 30-40 years old, and most of these groups are even much younger. So there was nothing. So the first groups the companies were in the 70s. Then there was a little bit in the 80s, and then most of them, there was a huge movement worldwide, which is interesting as well, because in Japan and in Australia, and which came up at the end of the 80s. I don't know what happened in the world, why suddenly this form of theater came up. But so these performers, they came up. They started to do their work. Their aim was always to do, like, they wanted to do art, to present it to a normal audience. But the problem is, then was little by little there was a network that was created that emerged with festivals, companies having contact with, and we and this festival, one festival I was working for was called Occupation in Zurich, and the concept was to change this and to occupy theater spaces, the official theater spaces, with this kind of outsider art. And then so we had the big venues in Zurich, like Theaterhaus Gessnerallee, Schauspielhaus, and all this to do the work. And we had for the opening we had the Pfauen, which is the old conservative, the main theater in Zurich, with like 500 seats, and so it was a great honor to have this to open the festival. And I'm almost there. I'm almost. We had this place, but we didn't have a performance to show, because you can't show if most of these productions are produced for rather small places, like for 50 or 100, and when you have suddenly you have a space with 600 seats, it's not fair for a lot of performers to show them and in front of this tradition which is there. So we didn't know what to do. There was only one company, which is called Back to Back Theatre, who are like one of the most important from Australia, who really do productions for these big spaces and who play and also perform in big festivals. And but they weren't available. There was a problem with the dates, so we didn't know what to do. So the idea was, we had already funded a lot of money, and so this was the reason I shortened it up, where we said, okay, if we want to have a show for this big space, and the other problem is also you have normally when you're doing this kind of performances, you have around 50, 60 spectators maybe. There's not a huge number of people who is interested in this form of theater. So this was the reason why we were thinking, okay, we need to ask somebody who is famous to get, at least for one time, to get like 400 people for the opening. And then this is why the idea of asking Jérôme Bell came up, because Jérôme Bell, he did a performance who was called The Show Must Go On, which was not with disabled performers at all, but which was working with a number of very simple scores. So that and was like working with this idea of non-virtuosity. So we thought, okay, maybe this performance, if we could ask him to redo this performance, The Show Must Go On, with disabled performers. And this would interest like 300 people in Zurich, because Zurich is very hard. This is a city which has a lot of money and nobody's interested in theater. So also when you have like Theaterhaus Gessnerallee, which is the main venue for experimental theater, usually you have like 15 people. Doesn't have to do something with disability, but nobody's interested in theater in Zurich. So this was the reason why I wrote an email to Jérôme Bell. I said, okay, we have money, Mr. Bell. Money's no problem. Would you be interested in? Would you accept to redo The Show Must Go On with disabled performers? And he was like selling this show like a franchise model already. So every time he goes in other cities and he reproduces this with other performers. And he has assistants especially for doing this. So, okay, we had money, and we said, okay, would you be interested? And the performance we would like to do this. They are professional from Theater Hova, we have money, so what do you think about it? And the thing was that Jérôme Bell never had heard before that disabled performers exist. He was wondering, like, he never heard that they were like professional performers in this way. Okay, we can discuss about the notion of professionality, but okay. See, so and this was like interesting him, and he said, okay, yes, theoretically it's possible, but I don't know if it would work with The Show Must Go On. Could you send me a video of these performers? So we sent the video to him, and I said, okay, and he watched the video, and he said, okay, this is I don't think it's possible to do it with a disabled performance, because it changes all the sense of the signification of the show. So it's not possible, but it's anyway, it's very interesting what I saw in the video. So what I would propose you is I come to Zurich anyway, and we do a small workshop of 3 hours. So everybody was like like pissed, and so the guys I was working for, they were like saying, okay, no, let him where he is, because like 3 hours, it's nobody's interested in working 3 hours with him, and so we have to look for another solution. We have this problem of the opening. Okay, and I said, hey, we have him at least for 3 hours. Please do me the favor personally. Let him come for 3 hours, and then we'll see. And okay, so finally, after long discussions, he came for 3 hours. He wasn't prepared at all. He just came. He said to the actors, okay, take your seats, okay, just sit down. And then he started to interview the different actors, and he asked them things to do. And I will show you. Wait, just a second. I will show you two, because somebody filmed parts of this 3 hours workshop. So you will see, the first thing you will see is he's just discussing with an actress about how she's called, and okay, you see, where is it? 38. Okay, there you see, this is Jérôme Bell, that's me, that's the artistic director of Theater Hova. These are the actors. I show you 1 minute, and then I show you another. So the situation was like they are only speaking Swiss German. So at this time I didn't understand Swiss German so well. So he was translating into normal German what they were saying, and I was translating it into French to him. So. My name is Lauren Meyer. I'm living in Worcester in a shared living. How old is she? How old are you? 40? No, 41. And I'm an actress as well. Come just as she is. So I show you another excerpt. What is it? Okay. The same. So this is Lorraine Meyer. She said it, I think. Okay. So you like all the roles?
Ja.
Yeah, oui, yes, yes.
Auch ich spiele Einzelrolle mit, Beispiel plus am Scheitern,
Ja.
bin ich die Bein, dann
So, one of the roles I like to play is Lust am Scheitern.
und anlegt die Kunst,
And then nach allen Regeln der Kunst, which is a dance performance.
bin tanzen.
I like to dance. Ah, you like to dance? Yes, yes.
Alors, est-ce que tu peux montrer une danse?
Could you show me a dance?
Ich muss ja noch Musik
Is
aufgenommen.
that I need to have music for it?
Est-ce qu'on a la musique?
Okay, could you make the music?
Etwas,
Ja, ich weiß.
There's something powerful. Yes, I know.
C'est une chorégraphie ou c'est une improvisation?
Is it something fixed or is it an improvisation? Okay, like this.
No.
Decided to make a production with them. And I show you, before talking about the process, I show you the result. The same, the result, something from the result. This is Berlin. Okay. So, I'll show you three.
Good evening. My name is Chris Weinheimer. I was hired as an assistant and translator because the actors speak only Swiss German and Jerome Bell doesn't. The first thing Jerome asked the actors was to enter the stage one by one and to stay in front of the audience for 1 minute. Als erstes hat Jerome die Schauspieler gebeten, einzeln auf die Bühne zu kommen und 1 Minute vor dem Publikum stehen zu bleiben.
Okay, I show you another. I show you Lorraine. Okay.
heißt Loren Meier.
My name is Loren Meyer.
Ich bin 62.
I'm 42
Ich bin auch Schauspielerin.
and I'm as well an actress.
Okay, another part of Lorraine.
Lorraine.
We will continue afterwards. You have to know that Jérôme Bell is a choreographer who for a long time didn't make people dance at all. So there were different things happen in his shows, but no real dance. And this was like the show where he rediscovered dance for himself. You see, if you look at the stage, so really economically this show is really an economic success, because there's no technician who's traveling with the group, because it's only lights on. The chairs are the chairs from the venue. The costumes, it's the actors, they wear whatever they want. They decide themselves for every evening what they want to wear on stage. The songs you're listening to are like the pop songs they brought, and the choreographies were made by themselves. So a lot of ready-made. I show you because it's a script writing workshop. I show you just the structure of the piece, the tasks that's of which this piece is made. So this is what the person at the microphone is saying. So these tasks are always announced, and then everybody's doing this. So the first thing Jérôme asked the actors was, you can read it. I don't have to read it. And you see the last thing is then Jérôme asked the actors to bow, and then they bow. So this is the whole piece, and then they are doing it. And there was like I saw you the video of their first meeting to say that the show was ready to 80% after these first 3 hours, and then he tried some other things, but he never really rehearsed the single scenes. It was just he tried out things and it worked, and then he kept it, or it didn't work and he threw it away. He was discussing, but there was never rehearsal of the single. There was never rehearsal of these choreographies. Just run-throughs and trying other things. There was a whole other part after this part. He threw it away. He changed some things, but he did like after 3 weeks of rehearsals. Which were like so there was 1 week of rehearsal, then there was 2 months something else, then there was the second week of rehearsal. No, I think it was even after the second week of rehearsal, or after the third. He did a public tryout, and then he asked people, okay, what do you think about all this? Give me your feedback. And there were very violent discussions. After this, he changed some things, and he added this scene, so he threw away a lot of scenes, and he added the fifth. He asked what they think about this piece. This 16 didn't exist yet. Then the show premiered with another last scene, final scene, and because as he thought that it was too long to show all the 11 solos, he just shows 7 of them. And there was like a system of rotation, so that everybody danced, but not in each show. And then a lot of people were like disappointed, and they said, okay, this is not possible that you only show 7. And what about the 4 others? Everybody was curious how these other 4. So he added this scene as well, also to show that this was not a question of a good dance and a bad dance, what is good quality and performance and what not, to question this. So he put this at the end. Yes, that was the whole thing, which was for different reasons. Maybe if we have time we can discuss on this, but not now. Just to explain you, I want to focus on the process, so that's it. I show you one thing. I said, okay, he never rehearsed something, but I show you something he rehearsed. I show it first and then I tell you the story afterwards. So sometimes there's rehearsal at points where you don't think, so now you're already prepared that there will be something rehearsed, but okay. So this is, I come back to the 1 minute scene, the first scene, where he asked the actors to stand in front of the audience for 1 minute.
Danke, Peter. Thank you, Peter.
Okay, I showed you this because this is one of the more problematic parts of this play. It was like Peter Keller, who's one of the most, he's retired now, but he was one of the most skilled actors of Theater Horror. And really, we don't have time, I can show you extracts where he's performing in other pieces. But he's really one of the most skilled performers maybe I ever saw. And during all the rehearsals in this 1 minute scene, it was like everybody was staying there like between 30 seconds and 1 minute and a half maybe. Except Peter, who during all the rehearsals he was staying there for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 30 minutes sometimes. So it didn't stop, and then after 30 minutes he went away. So and Jérôme Bell, he found that so fascinating that he absolutely wanted to keep it. But really, at the day of the premiere, Peter, he was exactly, but the most exact of all of them, he was on 60 seconds on stage. So he was, the choreographer was very disappointed because of this, because of okay, what he wanted to tell with this piece, that he said, okay, Peter, you don't leave after 1 minute, you leave when the guy says, okay, thank you, Peter, you can leave now. So really, this is one of the scenes who are like, I don't know, like directed or like rehearsed.
How long was it actually now?
So it was, I think 3 minutes. But it's really the guy is like, he has a clock. I don't know, 3 minutes or 4 minutes.
Around 3 minutes.
Yes. The time is running. I'm completely out of time. I promise I will be much faster for the next pieces. It's break time now, but maybe you have some questions already. Do you have?
What was actually your job during this performance?
During this performance was, so the first thing is initially I was just making the contact, and then he was like, he worked for 3 days with them. He came back after these 3 hours. He worked for 3 days with them, and he felt very insecure because he didn't know how to. What could he expect from them? What couldn't he? How? So, and for this he asked me. During these first 3 days, I wasn't even in Zurich, and so he asked me. He called me if I could come to assist to these rehearsals, and just to be there to discuss with him. So the rehearsals, they were not really rehearsals. They were like run-throughs. Like, for example, one scene which lasted, let's say, 20 minutes, and then there was like break and 2 hours of discussions of what was happening there, why was it happening, what was interesting, what did it tell, to what, like this. So my job was just to, was mainly this, to be there as to discuss these questions, because he felt very insecure because of this. And then, yes. And we discussed a lot at the beginning, and at the end it was like he had like prepared like 6 weeks of rehearsals, which was much too much for this format. But he had already promised to take this time, so I think after 3 weeks of rehearsals there were not a lot of discussions anymore. No, less and less. And yes, and he was checking his emails during the run-throughs. And yes, this was also, for me it was one big thing I learned from this production was that because he didn't even watch it anymore, after a moment, after 4 weeks maybe, and he said, okay, this doesn't do nothing anymore to me, but I have to trust my first sensation and my first impression. And I think this is, in general, I have to think about it since very often, that it's really, this is something which is true, because when you're working a lot on something, you lose your feeling for this, and it's good to remind that, okay, how was it when I saw it the first time? Yes.
In those discussions, whereas there are the idea of making it more theatrical or adding costumes or adding lights, or he just said his idea was just...
So he's... What is the question?
In the discussion, you said
Yes.
there's many discussions.
No, he's so the first thing is that he's always working like this. So there are never special lights. There's never set design. And for the costumes, it's really like it's. He thinks that it's more interesting what the performers will bring than everything he could bring to them, and sometimes he was working. For example, he was doing a collaboration with Anne-Therese Kersmacher, which is a Flemish choreographer, and for her it was the same thing for the costume, but she decided to decide for one costume and to always wear it when they are performing it, and he's like crazy about it, and he said okay, she didn't understand the whole thing when she's putting a costume to do what she's doing. So because this is like part of his interest to really to reduce it and to show it like this. Are there any other questions?
I have maybe one thing to add, which
Yes.
is funny because you said with him after this show premiered, and there his question was to us. We were all performers and dancers and choreographers, and he asked us, "What is dance for you?" And he let us all come one by one and do something and go. And for I don't know, a week. And every time somebody did something, it was like, "I don't believe that," or "No, it's not at all." And this was everything. It was all that happened the whole time, kind of. It was together with another choreographer as well. And he is simplifying, always simplifying and breaking it down. And if he doesn't believe something, it doesn't. Yeah, but it's just to what his focus is maybe in the work. That he can go for 1 week only for this question, but everything else around the production or something doesn't matter. I just found that really funny that he rediscovered dance in that show you say, and then I ended up in this weird workshop where everybody lost it at the moment. Impulse transfer.
Ah, okay.
Okay, so after the break we switch over to Monster Truck. And if you want to give me some feedbacks around about the presentation now during the rehearsal, welcome. I will try to respect what you're telling me. Thank you. Who told me, okay, but there are also companies who are doing theater with disabled performers, and they are wearing costumes, and they have props and scene stage design and so on. Already this performance happened on the 18th anniversary of Theater Hora, and of course until then, in these first 18 years, Theater Hora was always working with the costumes and props and things like this, and we did just to not let and now they are continuing working, and of course they are working with costumes and all this again. And we did a book about the first 20 years of Theater Hora. And if you want, you can have a look at it, and you will see a lot of costumes. It was just in this production, just to know that this was really this aesthetic was very something special. There were a lot of people who were wondering about this, but okay, that's not the point. We come to the second part. Almost at the same time this production, Disabled Theatre, was done. There was another company that came to me, a company called Monster Truck, and they are like they used to call themselves Performance Collective. Now they changed it and they call themselves Performance Group. At the time there were 4 people who were like at the same time the set designers, costume designers, performers, directors, creators of the piece. Then somebody left the group at the time of this production. Now we are 4 again because I'm part of this group. So, but I wasn't when they came to me and they said, okay, we have an idea. I don't know if it's allowed to do such a work, but our ideas, we would like to do Genghis Khan, to narrate the story of Genghis Khan, the big, was he an emperor, or I don't know, leader of the Mongolians, and we want to do it with people with Down syndrome. So it was like a sort of joke, because people with Down syndrome, they formerly they were called Mongolians.
In Germany?
No, in England, you know. It's because the man who so the first was a leader of an institution who was called Langdon Down in the 19th century, end of the 19th century, and he was like, and it was the era of racial theories and so the upcoming of races and all this, and he said, okay, he was the first who looked at the people who were in his institution, and he said, okay, there are some of them, they look similar and they look like Mongolians. So this was like the discovery of Down syndrome, because he was called Langdon Down. Today, nowadays, it's Down syndrome, and so he called them Mongoloid, I don't know, yes, and they changed it into Down syndrome because of the Mongolian state. They said, okay, it's a discrimination of our nation if you call people with nowadays Down syndrome, if you call them Mongolians. So because the Mongolians didn't want to be discriminated, they changed it into Down syndrome. So this was like to say, okay, we tell the story about the big Mongolian leader with people with Down syndrome. This was like a very bad joke as a basic idea. And then we met, and it was almost at the same time as Disabled Theatre, and we met and we discussed a lot. And at this time I was interested very much in what was called in the 19th, what was called human zoos and freak shows, because it was like a form of theatre with disabled people. And I'll show you some. So this is an example for it. This is like a human zoo. So they, I don't know which population. So they exhibited other cultures in zoos in Europe and America. So you could in Hamburg, for example, in the zoo, there you had like elephants and swans and apes, and you had like people from the South Sea or Africans. These were the freak shows. Freak shows was the same principle. Was more like sideshows of circuses and in fairgrounds. And there you could come and watch people with disabilities. This was the family of a freak show. So this is another human zoo. This is like I don't know from which country. There you have the Germans, Hamburg, people from Hamburg, watching them, watching the real authentic life in the South Sea. This is another example. Like, okay. And so we were interested in this. So, and one thing what was very interesting for me was that I discovered by reading, by researching on these human zoos and freak shows, was that I discovered that there were people with mental disabilities that performed being like Aborigines, for example, because they were somehow strange in their movements. So there was like a crossover between this, you know, because it was really because the problem always for the people, for example, for the Africans that were exposed, that of course after some months in Europe they became too European. They were not exotic enough anymore. So with these people who had like mental disabilities, they were like much more appropriate to perform how do you say, savages or like wild people living in the bush and or cannibals. Then they were much more appropriate to perform this than real people who came from these regions. So this was an interesting point. So we decided this was our main reference always, and so the our first idea to do Genghis Khan with these people was to put like a human zoo, like an exposition of these people on stage, and to add the performers, the non-disabled performers from Monster Truck, to put them on stage as well, to create like this relationship, and to tell something about the making of otherness. That's what you perceive as being strange, different. That it's to deal with this and to play with it. That it's like a construction. That it's like directed. That it's like and so we came. This is one of the 3 performances of Powers of Genghis Khan. There you see, this is we bought it in the shop where you buy things to open doors. So it's like a fake costume. He has it's not his natural hair. So like this, it was like somebody like from these human zoos, and as well it was like an exposition of people with Down syndrome. This was the first thing. The other thing I can show you very quickly, because we don't have. No, I don't show you at all. I move forward. So the frame. I just show you the frame. And the idea was also so. I have to hurry up. So I jump this.
You go in the field, you work all day, with the knife but you get no pay. From the meat or the bucket lard, the hard beer running on Ken's farm. It's hard times in the country, out on Ken's farm.
Move forward. So the idea is that there are other shows before and afterwards. So there's Wild West show, because it's just one show of among other shows. So it starts with the Wild West show, but nobody sees. You just see the demontage of the Wild West show.
come to cry me, oh, with a sword and a pistol by his side. King Kong, to cry me, oh, cry monkey, way down there in a hard tree, and I'm on the back of the bumblebee. King Kong, to cry me.
Okay, so now up to the Mongolian show. So this was like the frame for the whole thing, and we had somebody had even read the biography of Genghis Khan, and we started from this, but okay, it was not that interesting, and we don't have a real screenplay writer amongst us. So okay, we had this as a base, but then we started to work with the 3 performers with Down syndrome, and the guys from Monster Truck who had never worked with them before, they were like surprised, because at the beginning nothing worked. So they had imagined, okay, we could do like this, we could do like this, and it didn't really work. So they, after I don't know, 3 days of tryout of different things, there were just like 10 different things where they thought, okay, that could be interesting. Okay, it's not a lot, but that could be interesting. That could be interesting. Yes, this could be funny. Very little, and not enough to tell the whole story of Genghis Khan and of the Mongolians and all this. And for example, they wanted them to at the beginning they wanted them to be very aggressive towards the public, and it didn't work at all, because these 3 performers were very peaceful, and they half of the time they fell asleep when during rehearsals and so on, and they were not. So the question was, so we had there were 10 possibilities, 10 things that worked. There was there was the question of okay, there were 10 things that worked. Sorry, okay, and so the idea was, okay, let's not tell the whole story, but we do it also like it was in human zoos and in freak shows. We present like in a review theater. We present like different numbers. You say numbers? No one. Okay, don't mind. You know what I mean. So like in circus. So we choose each time we choose a title. We show it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and then let's jump to the next thing, and just tell a little bit the story of Genghis Khan, but also let's introduce other things that are entertaining, which have not so much to do, and just let's present it as a human zoo or as a freak show, and don't mind about if there's a real plot which is working like this. And there was just one thing which didn't fit, which was interesting for them and for us, and which didn't fit in this structure. And this was that it was interesting just to watch the 3 as they were during the breaks, or when they were discussing among each other. So. Okay, so finally, so we had this structure. There was okay. Can you see it? Yes. Okay, so you see there was this is the frame. There is we construct the first part, this was the freak show part, and this was the second part. I will explain a little bit more afterwards, where they are alone, And then there was a third part. I will show you. You will see. And was a way to structure, because we had first we only had this. We only had this first part, and it was a little bit. It was entertaining. It was okay, but it was okay. It could last forever or stop after the half. It was like there were different scenes. They were doing different things, but it was not. There was no necessity to say, okay, stop here, or the story is over, or I don't know. So we thought, okay, we need like we can take this, but we take this in a way, we take it as a whole, and then we have to switch over to something which is very different in the quality, to have like an evolution at a piece. And then when we are there, again to something very different. Another thing was that we were wondering, because these actors, they didn't know so well. They were very, very slow in reminding processes. So we were thinking, okay, how can we do without rehearsing too much? Because it's an independent company, so you also have to construct the stage, to go and to buy for the costumes and all this needs time, and we didn't have so much time. So how can we do? So we used an in-ear monitoring system. So there was somebody from the group who told them, okay, now go on the stage, now do this, and like this they had to learn nothing. They just had to had to execute, and we had this, but we were wondering, okay, how can we pass from? It's interesting when they are alone on stage. How can we pass from the first parts to the other parts? And then this was the moment where we discovered, where we said, okay, we don't have to hide it, that they get all the instructions. Maybe it's more interesting that we make it so the person who is giving the instructions gives them and everybody hears it. So the giving the instructions and say, okay, we tell you what to do, is part of the game. And then when these people, the non-disabled people, when they disappear and leave them alone, it will be stronger when they are more different. When they are, so you have a first part where they are really like very protected and they are very dependent. They have not the right to do not at all what they want. They just have to fulfill the images. And then the second part, okay, we leave them alone. The third part you will see. So this was another decision which gave us the structure, and we use it also just to say, because when we did the premiere, because they were not so slow as they thought to learn this, and now it's used because it's still performed, this performance. They are still playing it, and of course, since a long time they know everything by heart. And now the instructions they are given just to keep it alive in a way, because they think, okay, I have to do this. So she can see, no, wait. So she does, the woman who gives the instructions, she does everything to disturb them and to bring them to every time to invent something different. And okay, this just and now I show you some. Okay, I show you the beginning of the instructions. Can you hear me? Sound, please. Good. Are you okay? Light is ready. Fog is ready. Good.
Zuschauer, die langsam runter, bitte.
So the audience light goes down, please.
Flackern bitte rein.
Okay, the flickering light
Reinfaden.
comes in.
Flackern bitte.
Flickering lights, please. Fog. Okay, take this from your face. And come out, please. Okay, they're coming out. I will move forward like this. 11, 19. So you will not miss a second, but you will. Okay. So you see there are costumes. Okay. This was just to prepare you. This was one of the things that worked. That's we gave her like Mongolian. We had a CD with Mongolian. I think it was like a course for learning Mongolian, and she was able like to imitate it. So she will speak in Mongolian. And and then there will be subtitles, who of course have nothing to do with what she's saying. So and the translation says that, okay, welcomes the audience, says that everything you will see here is original and no fake, and it's the real life and it's not worked at all. We took it from human zoos where they're doing things. And of course it's always playing like you don't know, okay, is this a racist projection? Is this a projection you have because you think people with disabilities are like this, or people with Down syndrome are like this? Is it both, or is it, what is it? Always, okay, just show you, okay, I'll show you an example for one of these circus numbers. So this is, for example, what you will see now is we called it early years, and it's about the use of Genghis Khan when he was before he was. She says, okay, please turn around in a circle. Yes, come. Yes, continue, go. Yes, yes, yes. Please stay in the circle, please stay in the circle, please be disciplined. You see, Sabrina, we have a problem. And now please say I. Yes. Aua. And say oh no. Oh no. So you see she's patronizing them as she can. 29, where is it? Okay, another thing like a musical performance. One moment of concentration, please. 3, 2, 1, and go. Sabrina, you also can go on stage already. And Ollie, go. Your turn. Okay, this is called national music presentation. Okay, this continues like I move forward. Not to see it like this? No. Okay, so 52, and then after I showed it to you on the structure, after a moment, this is like the performers from one set point, they are leaving. A lot of people are scared because they are alone with people with disabilities. More Mongolians, you don't know. And
I saw the performance, and I really feel all the scary feelings of the audience. It was great.
yes, and
there were people who are really afraid.
There are some passages which are, like directed, like so there are some theatrical effects. This is like they are doing the lights themselves now. It was a snow machine, and then there are like some passages where there's. This is the snow machine. And sometimes there's no direction at all anymore. They are just.
I vil alle prøve gerne, og for alle det musik. Og kun spiller som spiller. Lige tast mig lige bare.
And what is important is that also this this part of the performance, which seems to be very, very savage and very it's they have this in-ear monitoring system, and it's as directed as the other is, because the girl, she's continuing saying, okay, please tell them dirty jokes, or please and this at the end, you hear it. When you think okay, they are doing what they want. At the end, you hear that that it's as directed as the rest. That also the people with Down syndrome as savages is also an effect of direction. Yes, and then I move forward faster. Then there's a third part. So this goes until the moment where they are killing themselves, or they are shooting. You see they're bombarding the audience with heads. Okay. And it's end up.
Does it hurt?
A little bit.
The whole performance hurts a little.
Yes. And then they're discussing again. So, and then they take this. Okay, maybe a little bit slower. So she kills the first one, she executes the second one. Chuck. And she takes the mask. Puts it on and executes herself. Okay, so then comes the third part. Because one of the members of the members of Monster Truck, Manuel Gerst, if you see, he has like a physical disability. He has like a little bit shorter arms. So when you're watching all this, what they are doing with the people with Down syndrome, and you wonder why is this physically disabled person behind the desks in white as and so he's talking that he tells the audience that it was not his idea to do this piece. Even if one could think that it was his idea, but it was the idea of somebody else, and that's what he wanted to say is that people very, very quickly they think that it's funny to be different, but for him it's just a shit, just awful. So this is very. It tells that this lasts 2 minutes, so this is the shortest part. Okay, he tells this, and then then he finished it. The others come, they take away. Make it 5. They take away the dead people with Down syndrome. And they prepare the next show, which is the cannibal show. You will see it. Okay, I show you. And this is the end.
No, continue.
Okay. Okay. I will jump. Welcome to Germany. It was interesting because it was like a little bit like the same topic as the institution we're actually in. I will show you another example for ready-made. This was really the hugest ready-made we ever did. And this was there where we were explicitly thinking, okay, what could a ready-made be in theater? How could it be? And so we did a second part of regie, which means directing, so of the show you saw. And when people came in, so I have to, this will take like 3 or 4 minutes and I have to count because it is a PowerPoint projection. Okay. And so people, they bought a ticket for see our new show, which was called Regie 2, Direction 2. The show was very quickly sold out because we only sold like 30 or 40 tickets. So they were wondering because the show was sold out and they came into an audience that was almost empty. And there was only on stage, there was only a screen. And then the audience light went out. And sorry, Bildschirm, Präsentation, okay. So, and then the audience light went out and then they could read this. That's it. And then the doors, the audience lights went on again. The doors were opened. There were 2 buses. People were transported to another venue. And this evening in Munich, this was like the 5th show of this and the only one in Munich. So they were brought to Olympiazentrum. And when they went out of the buses, they got other tickets. And I think when they bought the tickets, they had like to pay like 10 euro, and they got tickets for 60 euro. And they were seeing this evening. They were showing, but it was each evening it was another show. And then this evening in Munich, they were seeing this show. Yes. Was how was it called? Forget it. Like a wheels, and it was on motorcycles. But they were also the other evening. One evening it was they went to the opera. One evening they went to an ice hockey match. One evening just in the State Theatre. One evening, what was it again? One evening like in a review show. So very different works. And then after this show, and this was in Munich, we had a public talk afterwards, and in Berlin when we did it there, we had when people went out of the theater after the show, they saw like this. You can read it. There's coming soon, Regie 3. So coming soon, Regie 3. Okay. So what time is it? I don't.
20 minutes more.
20 minutes more. Okay. Okay. What do we do? Do you want another show, or do we just start the discussing? Because I asked you to discuss, and I'm talking, and you have no chance to discuss. I prepared 2 other shows, but
Regie 4.
Regie 4? Yes, we're working on it. So, or do you want just if you just want to finish, we can finish also. So up to you.
We want more.
You want more?
Yeah.
Yes?
I do.
Okay. Who wants more? The others can.
Okay.
Okay. Yes. So, and you want sorry. Which,
Sorry.
yes, he was. It was a special. Because we have Welcome to Germany and Sorry left. So sorry. Okay. So for sorry, I didn't expect that we go until sorry. So I have to improvise much more.
If you prepared Welcome to Germany.
Okay. No, we can take a risk. Okay. So for sorry, the thing was that we were applying for. We were doing a production with a group from Nigeria, with children from Nigeria, is a dance group from Nigeria, and there was because okay, I don't have to explain the context, and we got the fundings because and one of the thing is that it had to be like a real collaboration and not only us employing people from Nigeria. It has to be a real collaboration. It has to be so there were shows in Germany, but it has also to be shown in Nigeria. So we got, these were all like conditions for the collaboration, and we went there there were already projects, and so we didn't go there at the same time, but there were also 2 other collaborations with Nigeria before. But our problem at the beginning was that we said, okay, how can there be a collaboration as equals if it's so unequal? If so Germany is so rich and we are like so spoiled. We got so much money for this, and of course we give the half of the money, we give it to the people in Nigeria. But anyway, it's just like, okay, we are like giving them a gift, and they know, okay, it's us who have chosen them. So how can we collaborate as equals on this base? How can we share is this collaboration, is it really based on common interest, or are they really interested in what we are doing? Are we really interested in what they are doing artistically? Very, very difficult, very, very problematic. And okay, we went there. It became even worse because very, very nice people, very sympathetic, living in a very bad way, and you think, okay, and people full very intelligent people, very skilled people, much more. We have like no skills at all. They have a lot, and we are rich and they are poor, and it's very difficult to have a collaboration on this base. And so they were like children, and when children, they grow up very differently in Nigeria than in Germany, for example, because when you do a work with like between 8 and 14 years old children in Germany, they are very indisciplined. They are not.
I'm going to sing this song. Italian music.
So you can see the projection behind, but they start a discussion about contemporary art.
Guess what? We have some postmodern African artworks for you. Postmodern African artworks. Please buy them.
take scissors and they cut out the floor, the performance floor, and they put it into frames and they sell it. They sell it as art. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, maybe, thank you. Maybe one question or? No, we finished up. Can also.
Of course.
Oh, we can discuss
Yes,
like
we
this.
go
No, I think
for
it's good. Yeah, we go for a beer and.
We will discuss.
Okay, thank you for all your attention. It's I hope it was okay. Okay, thank you. Can I?